everyone, welcome back to the circus. I hope you're doing very well and having a great day. Okay, we have an insane video today because we have Tana Mongeau's best friend coming forward and dragging and trying to, straight up point blank period, cancel Trisha Paytas, which is a big task in itself, not gonna lie. And also for Tana Mongeau's best friend to be trying to cancel someone else for being toxic. Tana Mongeau's best friend trying to cancel someone for being toxic is incredibly hypocritical, and I'm not missing the irony in that whatsoever. And so we have Amari Stewart. You probably know who this is. Let me really quickly pull up a picture here. Tana Mongeau and Amari. So this isn't like Amari doing like, you know, like one tweet or something like that about Trisha. It is like a full-blown thing that he made an entire podcast episode about Trisha Paytas and titled it Canceling Trisha Paytas, which again, it's like, let's lower yourself down a bit. You are Tana Mongeau's best friend. Okay, so this is Amari right here. Now, before this, I didn't really ever catch Amari in anything of him being like problematic, whatever like that. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but it's just, Amari is not an influencer, so he's like never on my radar, but he is Tana Mongeau's best friend, and he is always in her videos. He has been for years. I'm pretty sure they've been like lifelong friends since her Vegas days, living in Vegas. Tana does not look like Tana in this picture, just a side comment. So anyway, that is Amari, and Amari has his own social media presence, and I think this is really weird, and there are multiple things that have came out of this. So Tana Mongeau's BF, Amari, and TikToker are going off on Trisha Paytas in their podcast, and the podcast episode is called Get In Loser, We Are Canceling Trisha Paytas. Okay, so not only this, they have been getting so much backlash now on their podcast because people are just like, oh, you're trying to trigger Trisha to the point where Trisha wants to talk about you on frenemies, which is what we're seeing with all of these people who are coming for Trisha recently, like Gabby, you know, Gabby Hanna, I mean, who are, you know, trying to get involved and trigger Trisha so that Trisha will talk about them on frenemies. Nikita Dragon is another person. As we're aware, frenemies is huge and they get, you know, big clout from that. So alongside people now coming for Amari saying that you're just trying to get talked about by Trisha, we have Tara Lynn, who is also a member of this podcast with Amari. Basically, this is the statement that they put out before the episode. They're basically offering people $10 to give the podcast a 5-star rating. So this is what we're dealing with before we get to the audio clip of them dragging Trisha. Let's hear what they have to say. And they also offer like their, you know, experiences with Trisha. So they said, the podcast is officially out. I can't even believe those words just left my mouth. When we first started filming this, we had all just met like twice, bro, but the flow was insane and so raw, and I couldn't ask for two better co-hosts. We basically get super drunk and spill tea that we probably shouldn't be spilling, but that's fine, I'll wait for the lawsuit. I'm literally Venmoing people like y'all who will rate the podcast 5 stars. I'll give you $10. Seems very desperate. Just for funsies, so get on that. Audio Monday on any podcast video, and you know, will be on Wednesday on YouTube. I cannot get over how happy this project makes me, so if you want to see super raw footage of us, you can go listen. Get In Loser, we're talking shit. And so this entire episode was about canceling Trisha Paytas. So, without further ado, let's just get straight to it. Oh, one thing I do want to mention. In my videos, I always make the jokes with like Gabby and with Trisha in the past. I'm like, this is a 30-year-old. I'm like, this is a 39-year-old. Keemstar, I'm like, you're a 40-year-old. You know, I make age like a joke in all my things. And I do get called out on it a lot. And people are like, hey, I am this age and you saying this makes me feel super old. In being called out, I realize that my intentions in trying to make a joke about, you know, like, you're this age, grow up, are not the best, and I'm acknowledging that, you know, that's not something good to say. And a really big reason in this is, in this, they're coming for Trisha, being like, you know, they're 30 years old, grow up. And I'm listening to that being like, 30 is young. But then I'm like, I'm a hypocrite, because I've, you know, been like, Trisha, you are grown. Like, in summer I said that. I'd be like, Gabby, you're grown. Keemstar, you're grown. Like, I say it about everyone, and when I hear other people say it, I'm like, oh shit, I say that. And this, it like makes your argument stupid. And so I do want to say that moving forward, I do want to stop saying that. You can call me out on it all you want to, like, help me along that way, because it is something that I just, like, randomly will go, like, even me, I'll be like, I am 18 years old, like, give it up, Adam. And I apologize, because in hearing other people weaponize that against other people, I'm like, that's a dumb argument. So that's one thing I'm taking from this. Okay, anyway, so sorry, let's get to it. So, get in loser, we're cancelling Trisha Paytas. Let's hear what Tana Mongeau's BFF has to say. It's just like, this is Tana Mongeau's best friend, still best friend saying this. So it's like hard to take seriously.
I used to really like her. So like when I was first like starting TikTok, she used one of my sounds and I shit my brains out. I was like, Trisha Paytas is using my TikTok sound. Like, I've made it. I'm famous. I've made it. But now, like, I like her, but she is just terrible. She's terrible.
Yeah.
She pokes her business into every single, but doesn't just poke her business. She makes 47 TikToks about every situation that's on TikTok Room, and it pisses me off.
What I don't like is how much older she is compared to everybody, and like the drama she gets involved with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it.
Who gives a
like,
fuck?
why are you coming for an 18-year-old?
She
like 30 something.
And
32,
Charlie, she
like
works for
30.
fucking Charlie, and Charlie's.
There's my thing. I now realize how dumb they sound when they're saying, isn't Trisha 30 years old? They're 30 years old. Grow up. And I'm like, damn, that really makes their argument sound so petty. And I'm like, fuck, I've said that in the past. I'm like, I've said that about so many people, and I've weaponized that against so many people. I've weaponized it against Shane. I've weaponized it against Jeffrey, against Trisha, against Tana, against Gabby, against all these people. And I'm like, it makes this person sound, all of them, sound so stupid. And I'm like, that makes me sound so stupid, because like, what argument is that about age? For someone like me, who preaches that time is not real, that age is not real, how hypocritical of me to say like those things and then believe a certain thing, like I'm pushing that out there. And then the argument of, you know, that makes people in my comment section feel bad about their age whenever I'm trying to do that as a joke to be funny, to be like, grow up to these people. But then I'm like, what I'm indirectly saying is that if you're this age, you shouldn't be, you know, getting involved in drama or whatever like that. And I genuinely do apologize, because thank God it took me hearing someone else sounding stupid saying it to realize I've said it so much and I sound stupid as fuck saying it as well. And yeah, I hate that. I hate that. You know, about the age, you're 30, stop being involved in drama. Like, 30 is so young. Sorry. Anyway, it's just made me, I'm glad I'm, you know, I don't know.
It's like, dude,
shut your fucking mouth, bro.
And then that's like it's so true. She's a grown woman, and then like one of the things that I saw on Twitter yesterday when she was fighting with Nikita, she was like,
"Oh wait,
you're like so and so age, like grow up, blah blah blah." But it's like you're even older, and you're still coming for like 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds that are literally like growing up and learning and like having fun and whatever. And like you think about like what you were doing when you were 16, 18.
Here's my thing as well. I was so on board with the argument against Trisha that was like, grow up, like why are you coming for a 16-year-old, Charlie D'Amelio? Now retrospectively looking back on that, Trisha was coming for Charlie D'Amelio and Charlie D'Amelio's family for allowing her to hang out with James Charles, because James Charles shouldn't be hanging around 16-year-olds whenever he's been proven to love 16-year-olds. If you know what I mean. And it's like, that was the drama that Trisha was getting involved with Charlie. And then that spiraled. And looking back now on that, I'm like, it aged as in Trisha's intentions were showing through that why is James Charles with this 16-year-old? Why is the 16-year-old allowing this? Why is the 16-year-old putting James on the platform? Why are the parents allowing the 16-year-old to put... And that was the drama with Charlie. Interesting to note. Interesting to note. Okay.
Like 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds that are literally like growing up and learning and like having fun and whatever. And like you think about like what you were doing when you were 16, 18. Like
stupid,
you know?
shit.
It's like, and then I don't know, all these people are being put in the spotlight, and I feel like she's always like, I don't know. I've just had like bad experiences with her too. Like when I was on Reality House, she literally.
Oh, you were with her.
Yeah. So like we hadn't met yet. And we hadn't met in person,
Wait.
but we had met on,
If
like,
you don't know what Reality House is, it was kind of like a Big Brother that was set up by Kian and JC, who are YouTubers, where they put a bunch of YouTubers in a house, and it was actually really enjoyable. And I wish they would bring it back, but like with more relevant people. And all these YouTubers basically did all these tasks. It was like Big Brother, they lived together, and it was drama filled. And Trisha was in season 1. Then they brought Trisha back in season 2 because like contestants from season 1 came back to fight for a place. And Amari was in season 2. And Trisha came back for season 2. So here we go.
Like, we'd like tweet each other a little bit here and there, like not much out, a big 3 fucking tweets, whatever. And she comes to Reality House, and it was like a thing where they brought back season 1 contestants to season 2, and then it was like they could knock us out.
Yeah, they didn't
or, like,
bring me
get
back.
Sent home.
They didn't bring me back.
And
Fuck them.
this never went on the show, so we're spilling real big fucking tea here.
Give it to us.
So her and I do the challenge at the same time, and she finishes like slower than I do. I didn't necessarily eliminate her, but I did get the fastest time on the challenge. So
Yeah.
so like technically I kind of like had something to do with it. But so she was pissed because it was a 2-hour ride from LA to Temecula, and she got eliminated and had to go back immediately. But it's like
mad.
pissed. She was being so nice to everyone before, being so nice to me, being like we were like happy to meet.
So the full thing was that Trisha then turned mean on set because Trisha had to go home after they were, you know, driven out and then immediately getting sent back. Driving back the distance as well. I'm just not, like, wait, Tyler, pss, 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 pss. I can hear him in next door. He's trying to knock over the cardboard cutouts. Pss, 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 pss. This is how I get him. Wait, hold on. Pss, 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 pss. Let's see if we can do it. Sorry for cutting you off. I'm parenting right now. Come here. Come here. Oh, it worked. Hi. Oh, he's a good boy who was trying to knock down the cardboard cutouts. Hi. Isn't he so good at like call and response? So the full thing that we're seeing with all these people talking about, you know, Trisha now is to be talked about in frenemies, especially for someone as, like, if you're Tana Mongeau's best friend, you know what I mean? Like, you're not Tana Mongeau, you're Tana Mongeau's best friend. And I get it. You know, if you get talked about on frenemies or you trigger Trisha that you get videos made about you, it's attention on you. But Tana and Trisha have been in such a good place recently. They've been reconnecting over the Jason and David drama, and it's like, is Amari putting, you know, a stone in the way of that? Like a boulder? Because he's, you know, going out of his way to drag Trisha? I don't know. It just... They didn't even raise any good arguments against... There's a lot of good arguments that you can use on why you want to cancel Trisha Paytas. Ow, you just jumped on my hand. On why you want to cancel Trisha Paytas. But they used that Trisha is too old and fights with Charlie D'Amelio. It's like, that's your argument out of everything? It seems a bit petty. I want to know what your opinion is, though. It's a bit weird. Okay, well, thank you for coming to the circus. I hope you're doing very well and having a great day. We'll talk about it below. I love you. Stay safe, stay well. Bye, Mucker. Mwah!